Hello and welcome to Footy for Real, your weekly pod to stay up to date with the NRLW news.
Yes, that's right. Jada and I will be taking you behind and looking through all weekend's games.
You can watch all of our episodes on the Fanatics TV YouTube channel or search Footy for Real on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we're everywhere. So make sure that you like, subscribe and follow our channels. Mads, let's get straight into it. I think it's only fair that we do a little intro first, and I don't want to go behind you because you have an amazing career so far and it's not done yet. So tell the listeners a little bit about Maddie Studdon, the footballer.
Yeah, so I've started when I was 4 years old, very young. My dad got me straight into it. He was a coach for South and played for South as well. So, I just started 4 years old, played with the boys at Mascot Juniors, and then played till I was 12 years old. And then with the boys, and then I couldn't play anymore. So there was a massive break there, and the girls didn't have any pathways, and that's where the games came so far now. But yeah, then I waited around till I was 16 years old, and then played with the Helensburgh Tigers with Sammy Bremner. She started that team up, and then that kicked off my Opens career. So played Helensburgh 4 years, and then fast tracked that, and 2018 we're in NRLW. So I've played NRLW for, I think I've been there 5 years. I think I've been in there 5 years. Still trying to get back in there. So doing that. Then I've played New South Wales State of Origin, even though it was Interstate Challenge first, and then Australian Gillaroos.
Said so casually that. Said it so casually that just the Australian Gillaroos.
Yeah, it's a massive career and I'm very grateful for it. But still, so it's crazy how far, and still trying to play a great footy. Obviously, you know yourself, there's injuries all in it as well, high and lows. But excited. I've done a lot and for the game as well. So there's nines. There used to be Auckland Nines, Perth Nines. The only time we beat Broncos in the grand final. Been to 4 grand final. Spot. Yeah, I've been 3 NRLW grand finals. And lost every one of them against Broncos.
So what you're saying is the next one you're going to win.
Hopefully. I don't know who wants to take me, but there's a halfback out there available. I
tend to get you the grand final.
And I won't lose the next one, I promise.
No, they say you've got to lose one to win one, and that's something I'm taking at the moment with our Sharkies losing the grand final last year. So mine's probably a bit the same, Mads, to be honest. I started when I was 5. I was born into a rugby league family and didn't really have a choice. It's what my dad did, and it's what my older brother did. I'm pretty sure he was paying me to be out the front and putting shots on me. So you can tell I don't like making the tackles, but I can take them, so that's all right. That's why I play at the back. So
backyard footy.
Backyard footy. How fun. So, much the same. And like a lot of girls who are in the NRLW, I had to play with the boys, and then when you get too old, you can't play with them anymore. And I was always really little. The boys grow at a different rate to the girls, and it's so special to see now that the young girls actually have this path all the way through to NRLW and don't have to stop playing footy, which is nice.
Yeah.
So I went away from the game for a little bit. 2016, one of my teammates, Emma Tonagato, won a gold medal. Emma Veron, won a gold medal. And there was this massive boom in rugby sevens. And I went over to rugby sevens, got the opportunity through Mahalia Murphy to come down and go to boarding school. And, went back to the Chooks, Tasha Gale.
Yep.
Won a premiership there, like in our Tasha Gale.
Claim it. That's a premiership.
Debuted that same year for the Chooks, which was really, really special moment. Obviously had a nice moment in the under-19s origin, and then been with the Sharkies for a few years now, which is super exciting. Been a bit unlucky with injuries, but as you said, it's part of the sport, and honestly just can't wait to be back with the team.
Yeah, I've seen your little highlight clip came up again. I was with actually the Women's 19 State of Origin this year. Talking about the young girls, they were unreal. But your highlight came up, and it's a massive.
To keep on giving, I'm telling you.
No, it's awesome. But even like that, talking about the young pathways now, like all these young girls they have from literally 4 years old now all the way to 12s, 14s, 16s. And then they do have Tasha Gale, Alyssa Fiola, and then Tasha Gale and the Women's State of Origin. So crazy, these young girls, the opportunities they have now, and it's great to see where the game's going, but even in the big league.
Well, let's talk about it because NRLW started in 2018. You're at the Chooks, one of the foundation clubs, and those 4 foundation clubs were the Brisbane Broncos, the Dragons, Sydney Roosters, and the New Zealand Warriors, which is exciting because we're going to talk about them coming back into the comp. But talk to us about the growth. Like, where do you think it started compared to now? Like, where do you think it's going even?
The 2018, like it was after our Origin, and there was a Jillaroos as well, and we won all them, and I think that kicked off. We had a lot of support on the outside and NRL as well, and Brad Donald was the one as well. They're pushing for the competition, so there was a lot of people behind the scenes that was pushing our game. And when we got announced the 2018 NRLW Premiership, we were like, "What? Wait, is this real?" Like, we were so excited, and like everyone, we didn't know what to expect. But yeah, I was lucky enough to start at Sydney Roosters, the foundation club, and it was a massive privilege and honour to put that jersey on, and I'll never forget that. And just 4 teams, it was crazy. Like,
it was like 4 weeks into straight into finals.
Anyone could get the grand final. Anyone can make the grand final. You can win 1 game and you get there. You can lose pretty much nearly all of them, and if you have a good for and against, you could have been in there. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how far it's come, hasn't it? Because really, you look at that and you think, wow, an under-16s comp has more of a setup than what, the best women in the country had. So I think, now it's nuts, and it's crazy to see how far we've come. I think a 3-week final series this year, which is really, really impressive, and really grateful for the NRL for that one. The Sharkies went all the way to the grand final last year, but hoping to go one better, and it's good to, if you finish top of the table, we know how close this competition is. There is that little bit of leeway that we haven't had before, which is really nice. But let's get into these 12 teams this year, because we only had 10 last year. There's been some really, really big off-season movements, player movements, and even staff changes, all that sort of stuff. So let's get into it, and we'll start with the Broncos, and they've been highly in our NRLW media at the moment. One of the biggest names headed their way in Tamika Upton. So how do you see them looking? They obviously finished minor premiers last year, had to come up against the mighty Sharks in the semi-final and lost 14-0. It was the first time they've been kept to nil in their history. How do you think the Broncos are shaping up this year?
So I think player of the watch for the Broncos is, look, with Tamika Upton coming across, they haven't lost anything. They've gained. And I think after having that loss of the Sharks in the finals, I think they're going to be very hurt by that, and they're going to have that motivation to not have that feeling again, especially having that lost 14-0. So, with Tamika Upton in their side now, Hayley Maddox gone to the wing. It's going to be a very interesting spine, and I think it just adds so much talent to their talented squad already. So, I'm interested to see if there's any movement around the halves with Ali Bringshaw, because sometimes I have put her in the lock position. I do like her at lock because it frees that ball play as a halfback. Like, she controls that middle, and she makes that many breaks in the middle as well. So they have movement to do those changes as well.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that we're actually seeing Hayley Maddox move to the wing, and I'm glad you touched on it, because last year she was up there with one of the best try assists in the comp. Her numbers were crazy. Then she debuted for Origin for the Queensland Maroons. I just think it's funny that they haven't moved Ali Bringshaw to lock with Gail Broughton and Tamika Upton in the halves and left Hayley Maddox at the back. Tamika is an insane ball player. And you're right, she probably is one of our players to watch. Someone else that I really like in the spine is Jada Ferguson. She obviously played for the Queensland Maroons this year, but an up-and-comer. She's still really, really young. I think it's interesting that they've put Destiny Brill on the bench and starting Jada Ferguson. I know that they did that a bit last year as well, but I think she's really exciting. She offers, a bit of creativity. She loves to run. It's what you want in a 9 as well. So, they're definitely players to watch, but you just can't go past Tamika Upton. No. She's the game breaker. I
think on their squad as well, it's that I've seen they've moved Julie Robinson into the centre because Hayley's on the wing. So that could be a bit of a mix-up with the, obviously, edges as well. Let's see how that goes. But Julie Robson can hold her own. I like to make her hands on ball more. And I think if she doesn't get used out the fullback, she can have a quiet game. And you want her to always touching the ball. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, the Bronx will be very interesting this year. Let's move on, though, to the Canberra Raiders. Last season finished up 6th. The Raiders are one of these teams where they're likely to knock off whoever's winning the comp, and then the next week, maybe have a little dip. So the potential is definitely there. What do you think of the Raiders this year? Do you have a player to watch or a game breaker?
They've had a couple of losses as well. Ash Quinlan, they're 5'8". She's moved on. So they've had to try and find another 5'8" there. And then Leanne from Roosters. So, yes, she's like obviously a strong, very strong runner in the centres. So, I just think Zahara Tamara at half, she's just, her kicking game can save her team. So, be interesting. They're going to be hurt from last year too, because at the start they picked up so strongly and everyone thought they were going to get quite far in the finals. But, you never know what can happen in this competition. But, yeah, they're quite new players as well. And then Appy's gone from the fullback. So they've got some spine changes. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think Kiwi Ferns, Shael Robbins-Reddy is going to come play fullback.
Mm-hmm.
She's been named at fullback. She trialled at fullback. They looked good against the Knights, but you just never know if a trial do. So
No.
I think their big game breaker and their leader, Samaima Taufa, she's so hard to go past. She was incredible in the Origin series again. She's been unbelievable for the longest time. Yeah. I'm actually not embarrassed to say she's my favourite player. She's an unbelievable player. Bleeds every single game she does, but she's a warrior. Have you played with Mimes?
Oh, so many times, and I'm being very honoured to play alongside her because she leads that forward pack, and I don't think I've ever seen her have a bad game.
Yeah.
And I'm literally being so honest about that. Like, she just carries her forward pack. She will go till she drops on the field pretty much because that's how crazy she is. Like, she'll have split eyes, shoulder out, bun knees, everything, and she's still out on the field. Like, how tough can you be?
Yeah, she's unbelievable.
But, and she leads by actions as well. She's a very quiet-spoken lady, and but she leads by actions, and she's a person you want to play with.
Yeah, certainly. I do want to play with her before she retires, or even I retire. She might be going. She's a warhorse. She could be going forever.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a new exciting team. First year in the competition for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Some massive signings in the off-season. Obviously, they're all new signings. So Taylor Preston, one of their first announced. As you said before, Ash Quinlan's left the Raiders to go there. They're shaping up to be quite a good team, and they won their trial, which is really exciting. They look good. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, with the new spine, new team, new forward pack, everything. So, the trial, they look pretty strong in their forward pack. And then I'm looking forward to seeing our little mate, Andy Robinson, at the back.
Me too.
She's, coming back from injury and had a fair bit of time off. So, as we know her, we know what she can do, and she's a great player, and she's a great person as well. So, I'm looking forward to watching her, but Holly Wheeler is going to hold that pack. We know how she can be strong, and she'll go all day as well. Be a little bit dirty in that full pack for Bulldogs, but she'll go awesome with Andy Robinson.
Yeah, love that. And I think my game breaker, probably after watching the trial, is Alexis Tavernier. She is unbelievable. I watched her obviously at the Dragons last year. She was their player of the year along with Teka Katoa, but she is unbelievable. She's moved out into the back row this year, but I couldn't believe how strong she is. She looks great at the moment. She looks very informed, so really excited to see that. And obviously their new captains in Taylor Preston and Teka Katoa, who will look to lead their team as well. So very exciting. First game, we don't know what to expect, but we can expect good things. I think the challenge for the Bulldogs, though, is they've got a great starting team. And I think in the trial, we saw they played the Eels, but we did see when their bench players started to come on and they started to rest some of their middles that they lost a bit of go forward. So, I think that's the only challenge is that depth sort of that we're seeing. They're a new club, but I think that they've got big aspirations this year. I've read some stories. They're quite confident, so I'm excited to see them as well.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to that one as well. But it's always so hard the first year inaugural team coming into it, and you don't know what to expect. Pretty sure every year you don't know what to expect in the NRLW because there's so many changes and so many new teams come in. But yeah, that's a big one. I'm looking forward to seeing them. And off to your Sharkies.
Oh, to my Sharkies. I'm not biased at all. But yeah, we lost the grand final last year, and there's a lot of fire in the belly at the moment, and I could probably touch on every single player. I love them. So, it's good to be back with the Sharkies, and we'll probably ask you, Mads, because I am completely biased. Who do you think the game breakers are and the players to watch? 1 to 17, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Sharkies too. I'm not going to die away from that. But you've got some big changes this year as well. Obviously losing Taylor Preston as a halfback. She controlled that game and the kicking game very well. But you pick up Tyler King, Shantae as well. So Caitlin Johnson and JC Carter. So there's a lot there, and yourself. You can't forget about yourself. But yeah, so my players to watch, obviously, the halves to see how they connect up. Brand new spine coming into it, which will be good. But Tyler King, I'm excited to play with her, and I think just a new move from St George. She's unbelievable. And then JC Carter through the middle with Ellie Johnson. So there's so many players to watch.
I tell you what, those two are twins. They look so similar on the field. The blonde hair waving through the wind and putting shots on everywhere. So yeah, they're crazy, and they'll be looking to lead from the front. They will. But for me and the player to watch, I think some young guns where it's always good to talk about them and where they can get to this year. But we've got Jada Tafua debuting on the weekend. She's a back rower. You could put her in the middle. You could honestly put her on the wing. You could put her at fullback. She is one of those players who is just all heart. Yeah. I think she got second in our Bronco, fit as a fiddle, will go all day.
Wow.
Cannot speak highly enough of her. And we have I don't know if I'd call it an honesty session, but we always give each other little raps and stuff like that when people are doing good things. And she always gets a mention. She's always pushing for a teammate. She's that type of player. We just spoke about Samaima Taufa. She's that type of player, Jada, who you want to play next to. But I think I'm looking for a big year out of Manalita Takapautolo. She is unbelievable. Young, played Tasha Gale this year, so she's 19. She missed out on the under-19s New South Wales Origin. It would have been her second year playing that. But she had to miss out with a knee injury. She's back for round one. She's unbelievable. She's through the middle. She's fast. She's got good feet. And the youth definitely helps as well. So really excited from a big season for her as well. They're my young guns to watch.
Yeah, we're devastated with the women's 19s with her injury. I think it was just 2 weeks off or short. But Manalita, she's a beast, and she's only starting her career. So if I'm across from her, I would not want to be put in front of her.
Scary, hey, coming up through the ranks, there was always girls who were big. Obviously bigger than me, but strong, big middles and stuff like that. But I think we talk about it in the men's game, how the athletes are just getting bigger, faster, stronger. Yeah. The NRLW is the same. Yeah. The girls are bigger, faster, stronger than ever. And I know, Mads, you've been around the game for a long time, and I'm only fresh, really. But I honestly, it's a matter of time before a bigger, faster fullback comes into the game. They've just got this pathway now where they're so good that it's just it's scary. Yeah. It's mind-boggling, actually. The wingers, much like the men's game, huge try-scoring machines. Yeah. It's really exciting to see where we're headed at the moment. But anyways, enough of the Sharks. I'm sure I'll be biased all the time. But let's move. I'll sing the song. Don't start me. Let's move on to the Gold Coast Titans. This is a really interesting one, Mads, and I'm really keen to get your opinion on this because last season they finished 8th. The year before, they went on a massive run to play in the grand final and then sort of just dropped off. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about why maybe or what they look like this year or what you're expecting?
Yeah, so I think they've been so close to obviously going finals all the way. The last 2 years, they've had a great campaign and then they just went a little bit up and down last year and they had a solid team and I think a couple of injuries really hurt them. And then losing their main players this year, obviously Ivani of pregnancy, Shanamoto pregnancy. So they've been hit with some babies in the team. But with Chapo going to the back, interesting to see more open field and her running around at the back there. So, with Lauren Brown in the hooker role or halfback, which I'm pretty sure she might play mainly halfback for them. But, Chapo at the back is going to be one player to watch to see how that connects up.
Yeah, it's the reality of the women's game at the moment, pregnancies. And, it's something we probably don't talk about enough. We just signed Caitlin Johnston-Green. We're expecting her back. Gosh, my fingers, toes, everything crossed for CJ to be back with the Sharkies. Hopefully middle of the season, we'll see how much we can push her. But the reality of the women's game and something that the men don't even have to think about is starting families. Yep. And, the Titans have been hit. At the moment and 2 of their star players. So they're massive losses. It'll be good to see Chapo with more ball in hand. I seen a clip in the trial of her doing the usual Chapo stuff where she runs around everyone and just burns them. Unbelievable tackle in the end. But Chapo, speed, she's aggressive. she'll be really, really good. Looking to see more ball in her hands. I'm also really excited, and my player to watch, again, I'm trying to go with some young guns, is Destiny Minnow-Sinapati.
Yeah.
Last year had an ACL injury. Poor girl, feels. But yeah, it's really exciting to see her come back. You know, the previous year to that, she was under-19s Queensland fullback. Lots of potential. I thought maybe she might go back to fullback with Varney out, but they've gone the way of Chapo, which is definitely, you know, still really positive for them. So really excited to see Destiny back playing. Unbelievable. They've signed Natasha Penatani from the Tigers, which is really exciting for them, as well as Pauline Rasambale, who was also at the Tigers.
Yeah, she was at the Tigers,
Yeah, so they've got a pretty star-studded squad still. I do think that it's Loz Brown who leads them. Last year she was injured for much of the season. But yeah, I still think it's Lauren Brown for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think Pauline as well in the 5'8". She came, from Tigers. She does have a big kicking game, so I think that can help Lauren Brown as well. But, Lauren Brown's going to be the crafty, and that steers the team around. So, looking forward to looking at the Titans, but Knights, Newcastle Knights.
Let's move on to the Knights. And last season, previous to that, they'd won the last couple of premierships. So last year they lost the semi-final to the eventual winners, though, the Sydney Roosters. How do you think they shape up this year? And it's really, really important that we actually mention that they've lost their two captains. They lost their captains in Hannah Southwell and Tamika Upton, which are not minor losses. So where do you think they sit this year?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a massive hit for the Newcastle Knights. Losing Tamika Upton and Hannah Southwell, they're massive players and massive leaders. So I think that's going to lose some spots there. But with Beau Felly-Welsh, she comes in. She was at Tigers as well. And then I think just a fresh start for her. She's going to be awesome. And they're obviously around the spine. But even the young guns coming through, Eva Jones, she's unreal. Like, she's hard running. She's second row. Like, she's just a beast, and she played in the Origin. So a 19's Origin, and I'm looking forward to looking at these young guns come through.
That Eva McEwen, she is a gun. Evie
Jones.
Oh,
sorry, I got the names mixed up. Sorry, my bad.
Yes, Eva McEwen, young gun to watch, as well as Evie Jones. Evie Jones is fellow Northern Division girl, so definitely love her, hype her up. I've been watching her since she was quite young. My dad was coaching her, and that young girl she's a halfback, and she played incredible for them last year. Surprised to not see Evie Jones actually in the team anywhere. I think she's one of those players who's probably too good to be left out of any team. When she played as a junior, she actually could play anywhere from front row to she was always been a halfback, and she was playing in the front row for that team. So superstar in the making, and really excited to see Jules Kirkpatrick. Played with her in the under-19s Origin. She was a gun. And I'm guessing she still is. I think she's been out with injury. Really excited to see her debut finally, which will be really, really exciting. Typically a back rower when I played with her, but might see her come off the bench anywhere. She's named at 14, so that'll be really exciting. I think the Knights this year, definitely probably a reshuffle of how they play, more of like a typical, I guess, style of Georgia Roach and Jessie Southwell as your halves, and probably Beau out the back, whereas Tamika used to stand up a lot of the time, and those wide fours, those short sides, Tamika was always looking for. So I think, that's going to be an area to work on for the Knights, because Tamika's not like losing any other player. She's the best in the comp, in my opinion. She's so hard to defend. She's hard to predict. All those things that the Knights will be missing dearly. Yeah,
I think it's going to hit the spine pretty hard. But with Liv Higgins in the hooker role as well, I thought she was going to make the Origin, and cause she had a fantastic year last year, and then she's such a good player. But I'm excited to see her this year, because she went unreal. But the spine, obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how they come up. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on to these returning to the comp superstars, the New Zealand Warriors. They're re-entering the comp, as I just said. It'll be really exciting a little bit worried, though, about all the travel. I'm very excited. Hopefully be back in the Sharkies team come the time we have to travel to New Zealand. But let's talk about these New Zealand girls. A lot of them have got to return home. A lot of them were already NRLW superstars who have now get to return home to New Zealand and play for their home team, which is really exciting. What are you expecting from these girls?
Yeah, it's a very brand new team, and then there's a lot of girls who are NRLW debut as well. So it's a big mixture of group. But yeah, I'm looking excited, and I'm so happy they're back into the competition. 2018 was obviously when they started off, and then they went out of the comp. So yeah, they've brought a lot of New Zealand Kiwi girls from the union as well. So there's Michaela from the union sevens.
Yep. Michaela Brake, freshly married, superstar in the sevens. I still believe Maddie Levi hasn't taken over her yet, so I think she still holds the record for most tries in the sevens circuit.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
That's just an indication of how good she is and how much of a try scorer she is. So she's named on the wing. I was interested to see where they'd put her. Obviously very strong, been a professional for a long time. We see a lot of the sevens girls come over, and because of that athleticism, might be put into the centres and just learning the game and stuff like that. But I think you just got to give her the ball.
Yeah.
We obviously know this isn't sevens, this is NRLW, and there's not space everywhere, and you've got to create space. And that's hard. But I think with how strong she is, how quick she is, she's honestly built like solid as, I was going to say a brick shit house, but I'll say it anyways. She's so strong, she's so quick. She'll be a superstar for them, I think. But I am also, she's my player to watch, but I think their game breaker for me is Uppy Nichols.
Yeah.
I can't go past her. She was great for the Raiders last year. She's hit me before. She hits like a truck. Yeah. But she's quick. She's around the ball. She's a superstar. So what are you expecting from Uppy this year? Because you obviously need a bit of leadership.
Yeah, I was going to say Uppy Nichols as well, and she brings a lot of leadership to the clubs as well. She was at Raiders, and she's been in the Kiwis, and she's done a lot in the game. And last year I thought that was one of her best years I've seen her play, and I'm excited. She's back home. Some of these girls just wanted to be home and playing for their home club. So excited. And I think she's going to bring a lot. She's going to bring a lot of direction even at the back. Direct these young girls who have never played NRLW before, and some girls who've been playing for New Zealand rugby and then never played rugby league before. So I think she's going to do a great job, and looking forward to seeing how the Warriors go. They do have a brand new team, brand new spine, but also with Hadata Butler, we've played with her as well. We know she brings that aggression and that go forward. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes there.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm very interested to see how all the rugby converts go. We know what they can do in that game, but like I said before, this isn't rugby union, and super excited to see these girls in the NRLW and what they can bring, and potentially the fan base. Like, we haven't spoken about that, but more fans to the game is better for everyone. And obviously we're, one of the fastest growing sports in Australia, so it's really, really exciting to see, that whole fan base that they can bring across.
Yeah.
Wow, Jada, tongue-tied.
Even with that, the NRLW, the Warriors, their first home game's already sold out with the men's as well. So it's just showing that the Warriors are getting behind the women as well, and that's what we love. And obviously, hopefully they get down to Sydney games or wherever.
I've seen the movements already. Yeah. I think they say up the Waz, but I think it's up the Waheens or something. Cool. I'm not mouldy, so there we go. But there's already a big movement for the women, which is really exciting. I know my TikTok is constantly full of the Waz content and stuff like that. So I'm happy to see it keep coming if it means that we get more attention around the women's game as well. But let's move on to the North Queensland Cowboys. Last season finished 6th. Mads, what are you expecting from them this year? Got some big signings.
Yeah, massive signings as well. Obviously, Union girls again. Lily Dick looking interesting to see how she goes.
Yep.
With their spine, Kira Dibb's just going to control that game again. So with Jakaya, I think is going to be pretty good at fullback with more freedom to run as well. We've played a little bit of wing centre last year, so looking forward to see how they all combined in. But they're another one. They have these games, they go up near the finals and then they just drop. So hopefully they can hold on to it and without injuries as well.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, Mads. Like the depth is there, but sometimes, girls getting pulled in and girls injured and that sort of stuff, it just can be a whole season for a team. Yeah. You lose some of your best spine players or some go forward in the middle, then, we can see this dip in performances as well. So, I think another massive win for them is they've got Abigail Roach, and I think she's a little bit of an unsung hero. She was at the Knights. She is great. She is honestly, I think she's just a footballer. It's natural for her. She can hit a hole. She can run. And she also is defensively unreal. But really excited to watch her this year. As you mentioned, Jakaya Whitfield at the back, really exciting. She is very, very fit. We've seen the Cowboys post earlier in the year that she ran a 4-something Bronco.
Yeah, crazy.
Insanely fit. I am interested to see how she goes out the back of shape with her passing game. I think, that pressure of having to tip on instead of just being the one who gets the ball and scores in the corner is an added pressure. But I think it's something that she's probably gone to the Cowboys for this reason. We've seen her start at the Tigers. Bovete Welsh was at the back then. But it's really exciting that she's gone to the Cowboys for probably this opportunity. And there was massive competition, I heard, in the preseason between her, Crystal Blackwell. They've got options. Fran Goldthorpe's there. Yep. So there's definitely some competition, and she's earned it. So really excited to see her this weekend. It'll be very exciting, and I think we play them round 2 or 3. So be looking at Jakaya so that I make sure that I'm all over it.
Yeah, she has a strong carry and then that palming. So normally her first thought is going forward and just taking that hard carry. So it will be interesting to see how her decision-making at the back and ball playing is. So, that's going to be a good one to watch out for.
Great one. Let's move on now to the Parramatta Eels. I will say not massive on them this week because we play them on Thursday, first round of the season. But last season they finished 5th, just missing out on finals. They were pretty dirty that they missed out on finals. But I just want to talk about the jump from them in 2023 to them in 2024. Insane. Completely different team. I can talk about when I played for the Sharks in 2023, we beat them by 50 points. When we played them in 2024, we beat them by 2 points. So massive improvement from them. They look like a completely different team. You're actually a former Eel, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a former Eel. In those years, I reckon last year their defence was unreal. I think their scramble defence, their attitude in the defence was much, much better. And with the forward pack, obviously Kennedy in the middle there helping them. And then off the back of that, just obviously direction by Rach Pearson with a halfback. But, massive improvements. They didn't have as much still with the attacking. But with their defence, they just held that and they just kept going, kept pushing. So, it'll be interesting to see if they back that up this year as well. Yeah,
I think it's their forwards for me who are their superstars. Obviously, you got Elsie Albert, Kennedy Charrington. Their middle's really, really strong. So, really, really excited to see how they go. Not this week. But, really, really excited to see them. They're one of those teams that you can see is on the up. Yeah. So, I'm honestly, pumped to watch them on Thursday. Just hoping that my Sharkies get up though. So let's move on now to the Dragons. I know before I start bagging the Eels and get into some trouble and someone wants to fight me on Thursday. So into the Dragons game. Last season finished 9th. Again, one of those teams, they beat the Knights last year, but then could fall off again as well. So the Knights... Pretty similar team. Lost Tyler King, lost their 2 player of the years in Teka Katoa and Alexis Tauenier. So there is some changes there, but spine's looking pretty similar. What are you expecting from the Dragons this year? Yeah,
so I can give you a little bit of input. They've been going well.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
we're gonna fight later in the year. I can tell it already.
I'm a Dragon. No. So because I'm down still as this year, if anyone doesn't know. But pathway for the Dragons there. But with the Dragons, they're looking good. We had a bit of a post session last week against them. They threw a lot at us, which was really good. And Casey Ray's obviously in the 5'8" role now. Last year she got moved it around a bit. She was playing lock. She played hooker. She's a fantastic player. She's one of the smartest young girls I know that's coming up. I worked with her for Origin 19s. I'm so excited to watch her play just as a 5'8" this year, so she can just concentrate on that role with Racine McGregor. young ones coming up through. Obviously, there's Zali now going into the hooker role, and then they got Nita Maynard. So exciting for their spine, and with Berry at the back, Tegan Berry. But yeah, with all the young ones, Indy Bostock coming through as a centre, so strong, hard running. But yeah, interesting to watch.
Yeah, Tegan Berry, we know as the Flash. She's got the nickname for a reason. She's lightning when she's got the ball. And she'll be definitely a player to watch, as well as those young ones you talked about. And it's probably something I want to touch on. The Dragons have been so, I guess, blessed with their junior crop because the last couple of years, their Harvey Norman team has been strong. Before that, their Tasha Gale team has been really strong. And I've been watching a little bit of it here and there, the Tasha Gale, but watching the talent come through there with now Evie McGrath at the Tigers, but Indy Bostock, and you've got Casey Ray. They've just been blessed with the stock that they've had come through, and really excited to watch Casey Ray shine. As you said, she got moved around a little bit. She sort of played that 14 role of coming in at hooker, playing a little bit in the halves, and I guess as a young person, you want that stability. So she'll be looking for a big year this year. She was captain of the under-19s Origin team, so she's probably found her voice a little bit more now. Yeah, I'm expecting big things.
Yeah, so excited. And back on their pathways for the Dragons, they actually got it so good down there. Like, they got so much pathway coming through. The depth is unbelievable. The talent of these young girls. I'm playing with some like 17 and 16-year-old girls, and I'm like, it seems like they've been playing there for years. So it's awesome to see what the Dragons are doing and the depth that they have, and exciting over the many years to come.
Yeah, and I think we just touched on all the backs, and it'd be just like me to do that, selfish to talk about the backs all the time, but that's me. But even in their middles, and I think someone who is going to be a superstar, if she's not already, is Ella Costa, Charlotte Basham. They're also young girls who have come through the system as well. And I think they probably don't get as much credit. The one thing that blows my mind is that they're all little blonde, touched-looking girlies who just are insane. Like their footy knowledge is crazy. You can tell that they've grown up with a football in their hand, and they've played a lot of touch, or they've played a lot of tag, and they've the translation over to league has been smooth for them. It's been seamless, and they've come up together, and I can assume that they want to stay together at the Dragons too, which would be very lucky for them as well. But enough about them. Smelly Dragons, Maddie.
Yeah, watch it.
We'll move on to the Sydney Roosters. This is definitely a sore spot. They finished the season last year, obviously, as premiers. They got a star-studded lineup full of internationals. Mads, what do you like about the Roosters? Any hints on where we can maybe break them as well?
Yeah, look, it's going to be hard again. They're an awesome team, and Corbin Baxter comes back in their team. So she's going to be playing 5'8" after her injury, doing ACL as well. But the back line, crazy. The forward pack, crazy. So I don't know where we can break them down, but they're going to be awesome. And obviously John Strange, their coach, is coming off wins out of everywhere. So off the Origin and then straight into NRLW. So, they lose obviously Sammy Bremner from retirement from last year. And then, so the spine is pretty much the same. Taryn Aiken's just... Yeah. So we're going to have another big year. I can already feel it.
Out this week, but a superstar, Sammy Bremner, retiring on a massive high, superstar of the game. Now at the Dragons, looking after, not playing, in a bit of a different role, but she's, looking after what they've got going on there, and there's no one better to do it in the game. Mads, we're taking our time here, but let's get on with the West Tigers. Last season, 10th, got the wooden spoon. But again, mixed bag season because they beat us. They beat the Sharks before we beat the Broncos in the semi-final. So, like I said, mixed bag. It's been everywhere. What are you looking for from the Tigers this year?
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one. I think they got such a young roster as well, but there's not much experience in there. So there's Kezi Apps holding the second row, and then obviously Jade Fanua, she comes into it, which is massive as well. So
she's strong.
She's so strong. She runs that hard as well.
But like her ball movement is like, she's like a half.
Literally.
But she can be a front rower.
Yeah.
She's one of those, again, freak of nature sort of people. She's probably my player to watch. I think she might be in for a good year. Comes from the Eels.
Eels, yep.
So really, really exciting to see what she can do there. And I think she's not playing this week, but Faith Monera, her we'll be seeing her transition from sevens. She debuted not long ago for the Aussie Sevens, but seeing her come over I think is really, really exciting. She's one of those players, or was one of those players at sevens who had really good feet, really good eyes. She didn't want to just play the typical shift to an edge. She's got nice footwork, wants to play footy. Yeah. So that'll be exciting for them. They do have a very, very young spine in Evie McGrath, Lizana Lutu. They've got Jataya Faifua at the back for the first time. So it is a really young spine. I do think Kezzy Apps is the glue to that club. I've said it before, I'll say it again. She is just getting better with age. Fine wine, that lady. Yeah, you played with Kez?
Oh, so many years. And when she came to her first rugby league game, obviously was down with the women's, Helensburgh. And crazy. She just does not look like she's stopping anytime soon. She just re-signed for the Tigers.
I think it was 2029 or something crazy.
She's married the game.
Yes,
she's
she
married
definitely
the game.
has.
But no, she's going to be the player that's just going to go forward for them. Going to be calm, get the team together. But yeah, going to be interesting to see how they go, the Tigers, but very young and their spine. So it's pretty much a brand new spine for them. So one of the young girls have to step up and might be a breakout year for them.
Yeah, Kezzy Apps and Sala Togatuki will be looking to lead their team from the front. There's a little bit of a snippet from our NRLW world at the moment and any players and what we think of the upcoming season. But let's get into round one. This is the most exciting part, and the girls have been itching for this since May when they started preseason, and preseason has been long, let me tell you that. So Thursday night, first game of the season, my Sharkies are taking on the Eels. Mads, predictions, anything? What do you think?
Yeah, look, with the weather that it's going to be, I think it's going to be a tight game. Obviously, the first game's always a bit unexpected and you don't know what's going on. Everyone has so many nerves. But Eels coming off a strong season last year with their defence, I think they're going to be pumped up to meet the Sharks again.
She's just saying what I don't want to hear, guys. She's just trying to G me up, that's all.
But with the Sharkies, I'm so excited to watch you girls with the new spine. Quincy Dodd through the hooker. In the wet weather, Eels, watch out for her.
Not throwing away any hints, but I think it's just exciting for us Sharks how much potential that we have. We've got, three of our halves can play anywhere.
Yeah. Tiana Pantani.
Tiana Pantani
5'8".
Just played 5'8" for New South Wales, was a superstar.
Yeah.
Also did for the Gillaroos as well. Played a bit of 5'8" there, but back into the centres and touching on those centres. Oh my gosh. Anessa Biddle and Tiana Pantani. No. Every time we're at training, I just honestly walk the other way. I'm not tackling them. I'm not being tackled by them. I'm scared. So, I think across the park, we look strong, but we're not naive. No. We know that these Eels are strong. Mm-hmm. We know what they bring. I feel like the game's going to be one in the middle in this wet weather. It's going to be nuts. Sydney weather at the moment is crazy.
It's not looking good.
But in saying that, how do you play wet weather footy? We tighten it up. We want to knock the front door down. I'm sure they'll be looking to do the same thing as us.
Are you giving away your game plan?
Definitely not. Tony Herman, I have not said anything that I shouldn't. We know that it's going to be a good battle and it's going to be a good test for all of us, I think. I'm not playing, but I keep saying us. But it is going to be a good test. I'm really excited to see Shantae Kiriaratu on her debut. We did lose Taylor Preston, but Shantae's got a boot on her, man. Honestly, at training, she's putting torpies up, whatever, for the girls. So, she's got a great kicking game. Georgia Henaway's got a kicking game, and we've seen Emma Veron get a kicking game. So we've got 3 kicking options. I think there's just threats all over the park, and again, I'm biased. I think we'll be on the lookout for, Abby Church is coming off a great run. So she'll be one to watch. Elsie Albert in the middle. Kennedy Charrington's not playing, which is a huge loss for them. But obviously, can't wait. Round one, let's get stuck in.
I think, I'm going to go with you girls, Sharkies. Just coming off the grand final. Yeah, I got some Sharks fan base already. So, but no, it's been good looking after, obviously, the Sharks coming off last year. So I think yous are ready and yous are hunting for that trophy. So I think round one's going to be the pinnacle of where your season goes. Where you always want to start good. But Sharkies up against the Eels.
Perfect. Love to hear it. That's what we love to hear, guys. Up. Then we've got Friday night, Bulldogs versus the Knights. It is our first look at the Bulldogs, and it's a little bit of a new look night. So really excited. Again, what I'm expecting, obviously, typical Knight stuff, I think. I'm looking for Yasmin Clydesdale to lead. It's her first game as captain this year. As I said, they lost their 2 captains in the off-season in Hannah Southwell and Tamika Upton. So I'll be looking for Yazzie to stand up, and Jessie Southwell coming off that origin. She was, like Olivia Koenig was amazing and deserved that Player of the Series medal for sure. But Jessie Southwell not far behind. I think the way she can control the game and I guess here's me talking about mature at 21, but I think showing that maturity in a footballer, she's a couple of years younger than me as well. So I think just to see Jessie control the game and not look for the big flashy moments. She was happy to just sit there and ball play and do her role. So really, really impressed with Jessie Southwell. Thoughts, Mads?
Yeah, I reckon she's going to have an unreal season coming off the back of Origin. Her kicking game, she's going to control the Knights as well. So, but I think I'm going to go for the Bulldogs. I'm going to go for the new team, new forward pack. Taylor Preston's kicking. I think there's a bit too much movement at the Knights at the moment.
Yeah, wow. Okay, I'll stick with the Knights then. I will, not sit on the fence here. I'm going to make a call and I'm going to say the Knights. I think, as I said, those 2 players I just mentioned, and they've got Evie Jones sitting out the back of their squad. So if later in the season they need her, but I just think Jessie Southwell, Yasmin Clydesdale, looking so good. Yep. Let's get a move on and into the Broncos Tigers. What do you think, Mads? Obviously, Broncos, Tamika Upton. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just going to go with Broncos. 2 of a strong team, obviously coming up against the inexperienced Tigers, and they're just too strong and looking forward to Tamika at the back.
Yeah, I'm going to sit with you there and say that they've just got too many options at the moment. The Broncos, they look really strong premiership contenders after the Sharks. But yeah, really, really excited to see what they will bring this year. Saturday, we've got 3 games on Saturday. So then the Raiders versus Dragons. What do you think? Raiders obviously lost RP.
Yeah, they've lost a couple, but I'm going to go with the Dragons. They're looking pretty solid. Not being biased or anything. But yeah, I think they're coming off a season disappointing last year. I think they're going to hopefully start strong this year. So Dragons for me.
Ooh, I might sit with you on that one. Although, actually, no, I'm not. That's it. I've just changed my mind on the run. I think Zahara and, as I said, my favourite player, Samaima, I think they're just be too good up that middle. So I'm really excited to watch that game as well. We are getting a move on because we could sit here and chat all day. But Saturday Arvo, Cowboys, Titans. Thoughts, feelings, trialled against each other. So it's not the first time they've played, but yeah, very obviously different coming into when the points matter.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a close scoring game. But I'm going to go with Titans. I know it's Cowboys home game, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with Titans, a little bit more experience. But yeah, that's a hard one for me, I think.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the games of the round as well. This is a bit of a tricky one to pick. Rosie Kelly comes in at 6. Tallulah Tillett left out of the Cowboys team, but I'm still going to go the Cowboys here. I think there's been a bit of movement at both clubs, but yeah, I'm going to go the Cows for this one. Moving on to Sunday, last game of the round. The Sydney Roosters, obviously premiers last year, versus the newcomers, the Warriors. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't go past the Roosters. It's going to be interesting to see how Warriors go first time. They're going to have the nerves. Roosters are very experienced. They've been in big games. They've been in grand finals for many years. So I think with their side, they're just too good at the moment.
I agree with you. I think it's a good test for the Warriors straight up. Poor girls.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the comp, girls. Here you go.
Yeah.
So, no, it will be a really good test for them. Obviously, the Chooks, we played them in a trial, the Sharkies. They look good. Livia Koenig to lock. Mia Wood and Jasmine Strange, 2 new look back rowers. Yeah. So really, really exciting. They get Reema Butler as well from the Knights. I just can't go past the Roosters, and I'm really excited to watch the Waz though. Yeah. As we've said, they're a very different look team to what we typically know as the NRLW team, because they've got a lot of rugby converts and girls who are new to the sport.
And sometimes that's so hard to predict of what.
Yeah.
You don't know what to predict against these teams. Brand new team. For the Roosters, sometimes that might be a bit harder.
Watch, Mads. We'll come in next week and go, oh my God, we are idiots and don't know anything about the game. So, no, really, really exciting. And Mads, we've probably run out of time. We've honestly been able to chat about all of this NRLW stuff at the moment. But really, really exciting what the NRLW is looking like at the moment. And yeah, I've loved chatting to you, Mads.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So I can't wait for all the coming weeks ahead.
Stay tuned for next week's Footy for Real podcast on Fanatics TV. Super exciting to be back. Thank you.